ma'am.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Good morning. Good
Yes,
morning,
ma'am.
children. Good morning, children. So as I
Good
have
morning,
said,
ma'am.
we are going to start with the oral revision of lesson 16, the magical world of science. And I'll make sure that you are ready for the test. And after that, we will move on to the workbook exercises today. Okay. So I hope all of you read the textbook thoroughly. And you all expected the class test today, right? So all might be perfectly done for the class test. Anyway, let me check. So I'm going to mute you all and then I'll ask you questions. Let me see how many of you are able to answer the questions correctly. Okay. Keep your textbook closed. All of you close your textbook. This lesson is a story about the little girl Timmy who found a particular word very difficult. She was finding difficult to study the spelling of that particular word. Okay, who can tell me what was the word? Gauri Nanda? Louder, I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you, Gauri. Louder. Science. Can you spell science?
S-C-I-E-N-C-E.
Exactly. S-C-I-E-N-C-E, science. Very good. And a lot of questions came into her mind. And finally, she said that she was fed up. What was she fed up of? What was Timmy fed up of? Yes, Adinath.
Because Timmy do not have to teach the spelling of the site. She already
No, Adi, no. Why was she fed up? It's a specific answer for that. What was she fed up of? Yes, I'll listen to that answer.
She was fed up of science.
No, my dear. That's a vague answer. I want a complete answer to the point from the text. Yes, Anne Maria.
She was fed up of trying to remember things that she could not understand.
Exactly. That is set. A lot of questions popped up in her mind and she couldn't remember the spellings properly. But basically, she was fed up of trying to remember the things that she could not understand. That is the very reason why she was fed up. Okay. So you have to, when you read the text for the class test, you have to make sure point by point, each sentence should be read carefully. So from any part of the question, from any part of the lesson, a question comes, you should be able to answer to the point. That is what is called comprehending. You normally do the comprehension, right? A passage will be given and you will be answering some questions. This is exactly like that. It is just like a comprehension. So when you read the text, you have to be very, very careful. Okay. Okay then. So that's it. Very good, Anne Maria. The next question. Her elder sister, Timmy, corrected her, telling that, no, science is not like that. What was her opinion about science? Can you tell? What was her opinion? Wait. Yes, Adinath, if you can tell the answer.
Timmy was in a cave, no electricity,
no. Adinath, no. That's not the answer. That's not the answer. When she said that, when Timmy said that, this is the, like, I'm finding it difficult to understand. I'm I'm finding it very difficult to remember the things that I'm not able to understand. Yes, Prajwal, what did Timmy say and correct her?
If you understand the things that you are studying, then it will be easy to
Exactly. Easy to remember. If you understand it, science is not at all difficult at all. If you understand it, you will be able to remember it very easily. This is what her elder sister said. Okay, very good, Prajwal. Now, and with this, Timmy said that even if I understand, what is the use? I feel it's the most boring subject in the world. And what was the reason for it? Yes, Adidev.
Because she was not able to study at all, and it was she recommended that that is the most boring subject in the world.
Yes, that is my question. Why did she say that that is the most boring subject in the world?
Because it's only diagrams.
Exactly. That is an answer. Yes, it's just diagrams.
Process called
Mm, mm,
and what is the process called?
mm. And explain the
Explain the
working.
process
Working.
working.
Yes.
Working.
So what Timmy said that it is the most boring subject. Science is the most boring subject in the world because it is just about diagrams, explain the working of. I told you, science deals with the working of different appliances, right? So explain the working of and what is this process called. That's all. And she found it the most boring subject in the world. Okay. Now, Limi was surprised at this comment. Her elder sister, Limi, was surprised at this comment and asked her little sister to imagine her world without science. What was her imagination? Isra. What was Timmy's imagination about her world without science? Please unmute, Isra. No response. Parvati?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Parvati. Isra has unmuted. Isra, what was her imagination of her world without science? Timmy's imagination. Do you know the answer?
There would be no science teacher and no science subject.
Okay.
We would eat ice cream on that period and draw and watch cartoons.
Okay, very good. And draw pictures, right? Watch cartoons, eat ice cream and draw pictures. And it will be great fun. Very good, Isra. This was her imagination. But her sister told her this is not the reality. Parvati, can you tell what did her sister say, the exact situation if there was no science? Parvati. No response from Parvati. Ameya. There is voice disturbance. No, I cannot hear you. Ameya, I cannot hear you.
No television.
Okay. Yes, carry on.
You would be living in a cave.
You'd be living in a cave with no electricity, no television, no fridge.
No electricity. Without no electricity, no ice cream. Bites you, you would get malaria. No medicine.
No
medicine. No doctors.
Okay. See, though the network was not clear, but she said the answer very correctly. And what her sister said was, if there were no science, you'll be living in a cave without electricity. And no electricity means no television, no fridge. Forget about watching cartoons and eating ice creams. And there won't be any pencils and paper to draw. And suppose if you get bitten by a mosquito in the cave, you would get a contagious disease called malaria, for which you will have no cure. No medicines, no doctors, no cure. Okay, so this was the actual reality if there was no science, and which made Timmy start thinking. And she said that science is a part of our life which helps us and makes our lives better. And Limi asked her to look around her and find out the things that she sees around her. And she told, I can see my bed, I can see my mama's mobile phone, the fan, you, for which Timmy said how people started inventing things. Who can give me the answer for that question? How did people start inventing things? Yes, Rohit. Don't look into the book.
Ma'am,
This is a-
they follow the rules which they found,
uh.
and they started to invent new things and make
Yes.
our lives better.
Okay, fine. Can you give me a more clear answer, Leia? A more precise answer? She starts by saying that each and everything around you, including your body, work according to certain rules. Then what is the next part of the answer? Yes, Abel?
In ancient time, one question that
Yes.
answered these certain rules and started inventing new things.
Yes, they used this knowledge and started inventing new things. So as Limmy said, there are certain rules behind the working of each and everything around you, including your body. Since ancient times, people have questioned, studied, and understood these rules, and then they used this knowledge and started inventing new things. Okay, so very good, Abel. Now, who invented electricity? Sorry, I used the wrong word. Who discovered electricity and how? This question, yeah, Arfan.
Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin. He was an American scientist. How did he do that? How did he discover the presence of electricity?
He took a kite. And
he flew a kite. What key, Arfan? Was it a plastic key? No. Metal key. Metal key. Yes. Continue. Attached to it. And what did he do with the kite?
He got a...
Simply he took a kite with a metal key attached and he got an electric shock. Is that what happened? What did he do with the kite? Where did he fly the kite? When there was?
Lightning.
Lightning, exactly. When there was lightning. And what happened? He got an electric shock. This made him prove that there is a close relation between lightning and what was the thing that he discovered? Electricity, exactly. Lightning and electricity. And this paved the way to the discovery of electricity by Benjamin Franklin. So what did Benjamin Franklin, the American scientist, do? He flew a kite in a thunderstorm, and this kite, the string of the kite was attached to a metal key was attached to the string of the kite. And he got an electric shock when the lightning struck. He had been thinking about the relation between lightning and electricity for a long time, and this gave him a very clear proof that lightning and electricity are related. Okay, and this paved the way for the discovery of electricity. Now, what about the invention of telephone? Viraj, let me check whether he's able to answer. Viraj, who invented telephone? Unmute your audio. See, without unmuting your audio, how will I able to listen you? How will I be able to hear you? Parvati, who invented the telephone? Okay, Varada. Can't hear you, Varada. Sapna, try.
Again.
Who invented the telephone? You have kept your device very far away from you. Are literally leaning on the table. Sit properly, Sapna. Is it kept very far away from you? You're stretching your arms. Ailarun.
Alexander
Alexander Graham Bell. Yes, Alexander Graham Bell. And with the invention of the telephone, what is possible, Ailarun?
If there were no telephone, we would not talk to people
halfway across the globe. Now with the invention of telephone, we are easily and comfortably able to speak to the people who are even staying halfway across the globe. Shivadyan, you were present in the last class also. What happened? Again, you are in this class. You are present with 4D.
Ma'am, I present that then now I have 2 devices, so I don't want to attend the 4D class. So I attended in this. I did not attend it full. I just
Okay, fine. Okay, Shivadyan, fine. It's fine. Okay, so the invention of telephone made a lot of difference in our life. And even the internet, email, computers, smartphones, tablets, all these have changed our lives so much. They are like dash. What is that word? They are like dash. Varda. Miracles. Miracles means magic. Okay, very good. Now, again, the study of science is going on, from discovering the power of herbs in the forest, exploring the outer space, food we eat, clothes we wear. Science is doing wonders. And Chris, what does little Timmy decide to become when she grows up?
Next. Space.
Space. What does she decide? What becomes her ambition? Scientist. Scientist, and learn about what?
Outer space.
Outer space. Only outer space.
Alien.
Aliens, yes. She decides to science aliens when she grows up. For what? For which her elder sister, Limi, says that first you get study the spelling of science properly and get the grammar right. Otherwise, how will be the aliens able to communicate with you? And with that, the lesson gets concluded. Okay, so I hope now the lesson is very clear to you. So whenever you read the text, children, you can expect questions from each sentence. That is how you have to prepare for the MCQ. Okay, when you prepare for the class test, each and every sentence gives an answer to the question. You have to study in such a way. Okay then. So please close your textbook now. Take out your workbook.
Ma'am.
Just a moment. Tell me.
Ma'am, this story is written by.
That is what Surbi something, right? She's a writer. Not very popular. That's the reason I did not say anything about her. Surbi Sharma.
Ma'am.
Indian writer.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Now all of you please take your workbook.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Page number, yes, tell me. 51.
Will there be another MCQ in this year?
Yes, of course.
Ma'am, page number MCQ
51. Yes. Definitely we'll have one more MCQ. Okay. Page number 54. 51, sorry, 51.
And what's the page number?
51. Not able to.
Page number?
51. Okay. Page 51. So vocabulary, use of the words enough, and two. T-O-O, 2. You're going to learn the difference between the usage of these two words, enough and two. Where are the different situations? What are the different situations where we use the word enough, and what does the word enough actually mean? Same way, where are the places where we use the word to, and what does the word to actually mean? Okay. Now, the word enough is used to mean sufficient or as much as needed. Very clear, enough. I have enough water in my bottle. I'm feeling very thirsty. So then your friend asks, do you have water? Yes, I have enough water in my bottle. What does that mean? I have water in sufficient quantity so that I can quench my thirst. That is the meaning of the word enough in that sentence. Okay, now Isa, read those two sentences in the box. Examples on page number 51. First, keep your hair properly. Your one eye is covered with your hair. Yes. And read the sentences. Example on page number 51 of your workbook.
Part 2.
Exactly, part 2.
Page number 51.
51. You can see two examples.
Jawaharlal Nehru board.
My God, Isa, look at the bottom of the page. You can see two examples in a yellow box. Your shirt.
What shirt is large enough to fit me?
Fit me. Wait. So your shirt is large enough to fit me means the size of your shirt. For example, you are trying to borrow. You are going to your cousin's place and unexpectedly you are staying there. Obviously, at night you will borrow the shirt to wear, right? Borrow the dress. And you and your cousin are of the same age. So he gives his dress. So you will wear it and check whether it is fitting you. So he might ask, is it okay with you? Yes, it is large enough to fit me. That means it is big enough or large enough, or the size of the shirt is sufficient for me. I'm okay with it. I'm comfortable with it. Okay. Isa, continue. Which is the second sentence?
To fit 50 people.
Exactly. The room is big enough to fit 50 people. So the space in the room is sufficient for accommodating 50 number of people. Okay. So enough means sufficient or as much as needed. Thank you, Isa. Next, Laya. In negative sentences, just a moment. In negative sentences, so what do you mean by negative sentences? The sentences in which the word not, never, no comes. We use not with enough to mean less than sufficient or less than needed. Read the sentences.
There is a lot of work and not enough people can do it.
To do it, yes. Now, in the first example, it is said there is a lot of work, plenty of work is there, but not enough people. Not enough people means the number of people is not enough. It's not sufficient to complete the work. Second sentence.
You are not working fast enough to finish your homework on time.
Again, the second sentence, what does it mean? You have a lot of homework. You have to submit it tomorrow and you are writing it very slowly. So I will say you're not working fast enough. The speed of your work, the speed with which you are doing your homework is not enough to complete on time. So there, when you use the word not with enough, it shows not sufficient or not as needed. Not as or less than needed. Less than sufficient or less than needed. Okay, good. Now, Eva. Now the second word is to. To is used to mean more than needed or less than needed. Read the sentences.
You are traveling too fast
for me to understand.
Yes, he was talking too fast. So the speed of his talking was more than required. Second sentence.
I think the room is too small for the whole class.
Yes, the space, the room is too small for the whole class. The whole class, 50 students or 45 students are there, and the classroom is very small. So it is less than needed. So the second word too can be used in two different situations. When you want to show less than sufficient, or more than needed or less than needed. Too fast means more than needed. You don't need that much speed, but it is too fast. And too small means less than needed. You are not getting the sufficient thing. So you can see, children, the word enough and too are related to each other, but when you use it in a sentence, it is of different meaning. Okay. Now next, too is often used to mean also or as well. Okay, Sanahin, read those two sentences. Examples. Huh? You don't have your book with you?
No, missing.
Jaswin.
Yes, ma'am.
Read those two sentences in the box. Is Salma?
Is Salma
Coming?
coming to the party?
Two. Is Salma coming to the party too? That means, is Salma also coming to the party? So, two understands. Understands.
To
After two, what? Understands. What is this, Jasmine? You are not able to read? Huh? You're not able to read the simple word. Understands my fear of ghosts. Okay, she too understands my fear of ghosts. So there is a second situation where we use the word too, and that too means also. Is Salma coming to the party too? That means, is Salma also coming to the party? Is Salma also coming to the party? And because this too you might have studied in the vocabulary exercise, TWO, TO, TOO. You remember that we had done some exercises based on that, the difference. Those were homophones. Homophones, two, and two. There, and there. These two types of exercises we had done. So you might be remembering. So here two means also. So here, now we studied the usage of enough and too. So first, enough means sufficient. Enough means sufficient or as much as required. Okay. And second case, when you use not enough. Not enough means less than needed. This is how we use the word not enough. Means less than sufficient or less than needed. And here too. When do we use too? When you want to show more than needed. More than needed. That an example is too fast. Too fast. And sometimes we have to show less than needed. Here, too slow. And again, there is second situation where we use too, and that shows the meaning also. So, this is how we use the two words enough and too in different situations. Okay. Comparing enough and too, look at the table. He is fit enough to lift heavy weights. Fit enough, he's strong enough, more than, like it is as much as required. He has sufficient strength to lift heavy weights. Look at the second picture. He's too tired to lift heavy weights. He doesn't have that energy to lift heavy weights. Okay. And here we have two columns under enough and to, the usage. You have enough food on your plate. There isn't enough sugar in my milk. There is enough time to prepare for the test. So all these shows how to use the word enough correctly in a sentence. Whereas the second column, you have too much food on your plate, more than needed. You will waste it. Too much food on your plate. There is too much sugar in my milk. My God, it sweets very much. Extremely sweet. I don't want this milk. It's too much sugar. There is too little time left to prepare for the test. My goodness, tomorrow is my test. And I have not completed studying for it. There is too little time left. It's already 10 o'clock. I have just 1 hour left. And there is so much to study. So this is how the words enough and to are used in different contexts. Okay. So this is just for your understanding, and keeping these points in your mind, we will be doing the exercises related to the usage of enough and to in the next class. Okay. And children, I'll be sending you the notes today of lesson 16. Please prepare the notes. Please copy the notes neatly in your book and get ready for the class test in the next class, that is on Saturday. So that's all for today. Thank you all. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.